Pokimane has been making the rounds again for her little out-of-pocket comments, I will say, or an incorrect comments on why Cenat and IShowSpeed are so popular. And today, we're going to be talking about that. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. Really quick, apologies for the hair today. It's freshly shampooed, and I ended up having to do something so it's not staying like that. But anyways, let's get into the clip for Pokimane that has been going around. We're going to react to it, and then we're going to get a gauge on how people are feeling about this. Listen to this.
I'd love to share some perspective, a little bit unrelated, but a little bit related. As much as I think Kai and Speed are incredible, and what they do is incredible, also when I think of them, I think of how much the audience has changed over.
We'll get into it a little bit more, but it hasn't really. They're successful because they are fantastic creators, but listen to her. She's going to get into it.
The years as well. They're both two like young dudes who do kind of like crazy, wild things. And just from a data and analytics perspective, I find it really interesting to see who are the top streamers, their similarities, their differences, especially in terms of audiences.
You're going to see her point in just a second, but it's so funny to me when people like to sound so intelligent when they're bringing up, like, oh, from a data and analytics perspective.
And unfortunately, there aren't that many, like, huge female streamers, at least not.
And that was the point, right? That's where she's trying to dance around, but translation for you, I'm upset that they're more popular than me.
On their level, which I think reflects, like, nowadays the audience has, in a way, gone more to being a lot of like younger dudes, which is amazing. But I remember during the pandemic, I felt a much larger female presence, both in the audience and in regards to the streamers that we were seeing growing. And
why is that though? Why is that? What was the meta then? That's when the hot tub streams started happening. That's when a lot of people just were stuck at home. A lot of people took up streaming, and it's very easy to be in somebody like Pokimane's situation where all you have to do is like look a decent way and then just play a game. You don't have to be good at the game. You don't have to be entertaining. You don't even have to acknowledge your chat. There is a huge difference.
And becoming more popular. So that's just an interesting thing that I've noticed as a creator and both a consumer of the Twitch streaming landscape. Who you see at the top, a lot of the time can also like reflect the viewers.
I have wondered that, and I don't know.
And
like,
yeah, that's been the gist of it going around, and she was really pretty well just being butthurt again that people are successful. But you got to think about it. Why are people like Cenat and IShowSpeed so popular, and so many people just like that? It's because they are traveling the world. It's because they're doing crazy collaborations. They're coming up with new ideas all of the time. They are putting in such hard work, and to just like bring it down to such a level that she's trying to bring it down to is quite insulting to them, to be honest with you. And I didn't know this until people started talking about it and, you know, posting. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't care to look at this up in my own time. I didn't know this until people started posting everywhere. But the statistics that VTubers are actually the biggest streamers, I didn't know how popular they actually were, to be honest with you. But there was even one specific VTuber, I don't recall the name. It was something to do with mouse. She actually broke Cenat's streaming record, which was really surprising to hear, to be honest with you. So there is, again, a big difference in the type of content that is put out. You have somebody like Pokimane, and I will admit to you, I don't watch Pokimane streams, okay? But it's very common knowledge that she sits down, has some very basic conversations, reacts to videos, eats. That is a lot different from what somebody like Cenat does. And again, I think it's incredibly insulting to bring Cenat down in level, because you know that's what she was trying to do. You know that she's not loving being the top dog of Twitch anymore. She can't handle it. Either that or she just wants to go viral again, you know? And this is a good way to do it because, look, I'm talking about it. Everybody else has been talking about it. Let's take a look at what people had to say about this over on X. The Internet Hall of Fame had this to say. Probably because Kai has done multiple streaming marathons and set numerous records. Speed has been touring the world, becoming a modern-day MJ, and she's released an overpriced cookie brand. It's like, unfortunately true when it comes to somebody like Pokimane. There isn't a ton that she's done, and I hate to say it because she is dedicated to what she does, right? But it is infinitely easier and less work to do what she does, right? Okay, compared to somebody like a Cenat. Roberto Blake had this to say: nobody is on their level because nobody's putting in the work to be on that level, and nobody's bringing that level of creativity. It has nothing to do with gender. Exactly. You compare the two streams and you see for yourself. Let's continue on to another reply over here. Soul had this to say: while this is a true statement, I don't see many female streamers going to the lengths to do unique things like Kai and Speed. Take Poki, for example. She has the funds and notoriety to direct big events like they do, but does not. And yeah, to be honest with you, if Pokimane decided to do some of the things like Kai Cenat was doing, to have some of the events that these giant streamers have been doing that have been taking her over, she would probably like retake that spot and just like become one of the biggest Twitch streamers of all time. If she got into like hosting events, ginormous collaborations, like she just, I don't know why she doesn't do it. Maybe it's because of, I don't want to say lack of effort, because she doesn't have to. Like, this girl's completely set for life, but she's more than capable of passing them, and I wholeheartedly believe that. It's a lot easier to do with somebody like her, you know? Male-dominated, yet new VTubers debut every week that get thousands and thousands of views. Oh, brother, I'm sure within her own circle it appears that it's male-dominated, but outside her space, it's very clear as ever that it's pretty equal, more so than ever before. I wish we could actually look into, like, numbers, and I don't even know where to begin to look, to be honest with you, whether it's just, like, male and female streamers and how easy it is to get into the game, but I feel like it is easier. And if Pokimane wants to talk about, like, the audience being young men or young boys watching streams, you think they're just watching Kai Cenat? No. They would definitely tune into a Pokimane stream as well. It's just one streamer is bigger than the other, and I don't understand why we've lost the plot on like being happy with people, you know, or happy for people, I should say. Excuse me. Mysterious Viper 88 had this to say: she's failing because she is attacking bigger streamers, thinking it will get her views while losing her viewers at the same time. I disagree with that, to be honest with you. She's getting the attention that she wanted. Look, again, I'm making a video. Everybody else on the platform is making a video. This is probably like one of the biggest stories of the week right now. She's attaching her name to these giant streamers, and it's completely working. The biggest piece of news you can find in culture with the past few days is about what Pokimane said over here. K-Dance had this to say: I don't entirely agree with this statement. I think generally it's easier for women to break into content and build a small community, but the problem with female content creators, in all honesty, is repetitive content. The difference between the content men and women put out is night and day. Pokimane has the budget, community, and resources to make big production content the way Kai does, but chooses not to. There's nothing wrong with Pokimane's content, but it can get stale after a while, and I think that's a difference. I think that this is the most well-said tweet or reply that we've taken a look at so far. It's interesting that she said, I think it's generally easier for women to break into content and build a small community, but the problem with female content creators, in all honesty, is repetitive content. It is, and that's probably what's stopping the female content creators from getting to the top, but they're more than capable. Like, they would have to just put in just even a little bit effort. But the problem is, if they get a small community of, and I'm talking about like your average, you know, like streamer that just does the IRL just chatting thing and just kind of sits there to look pretty. I don't think that it would even get repetitive for young boys to watch. I don't. Or like, not even just young boys, just men in general, because if you're like half decent looking, that's literally all you need to do is just sit there and then people will watch you and they don't care that it's repetitive. Right? They just need to do something a little bit more. And for this next reply over here, and I know exactly what clip this is, and I think this actually just goes to show the point. So many creators in the space rely on doing this type of stuff to end up getting attention. This is what used to come out from Pokimane all of the time. I know exactly what this clip is. Kai and Speed don't do things like this on stream.
Okay, I promise. I'll never go.
That was a little loud, excuse me. I didn't think the clip would be playing that loud, but you get my point. There is a night and day difference from the type of content that is being produced. All Pokimane LOL does is steal content by watching YouTube videos without much commentary and eating. She has no actual appeal. She gave up a promising career in science to become a talentless and boring streamer for easy money. I don't think there's anything wrong with giving up a promising career in science to become a multimillionaire. I don't think there's any problem with that. Now, again, I can only speak for what the internet says. I'm not saying this because I don't watch her streams. You hear this a lot, that she sits down, eats, watch YouTube videos, and gives like the basic level commentary, but she can get away with it. That's no problem. She's built a very, very successful platform doing so. She's just not the #1 streamer, and I don't know if she was the #1 streamer. I know I've said that a couple times throughout this video, but you get my point. She is one of the biggest streamers of all time, okay? Edward had this to say: she's just not that entertaining. There's so many gooners out there. At some point, you need to show some genuine talent. I mean, like, I don't know if I agree with that. I think they might just stick around. They'll develop a parasocial relationship, and you'll be A-okay, good to go. You're just not going to be at the level of a Kai Cenat. As everybody's been saying, guys, it has been a ridiculous statement on her end, but if you want to take a look at anything else that went viral recently, why don't you check out this video on screen right now. YouTube thinks that you will like this video the best. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. Take care.